the wolf pack doesn't stop moving forward just because the alpha goes down. On the contrary, they become even more united, even more resilient. This is the culture of the Minnesota Timberwolves. When Dante DiVincenzo and Anthony Edwards went down with injuries one after the other, nearly everyone else stepped up. In Game 4, Ayo Dosunmu scored 43 points. In Game 6, Terrence Shannon Jr., who averages only 6.5 points per game in the regular season, dropped 24 points. Every game, they contained Rudy Gobert defending Nikola Jokic, as well as their defensive cornerstone Jaden McDaniels. Even 38-year-old Mike Conley played 26 minutes in the decisive game. They relied on ferocious effort, relentless fighting, and fiery passion to challenge one of the league's top players in a highly competitive playoff series. Where does the culture of the Timberwolves come from? When this young team joined the NBA in 1989, they needed a name that could represent the state. Out of more than 6,000 fan submissions, Timberwolves stood out. Not only because Minnesota is home to the largest wild timberwolf population in the continental US, but also because the animal embodies toughness, teamwork, and resilience, perfectly matching the local spirit. The true forging of the team's culture had to wait until 1995, when 19-year-old Kevin Garnett arrived in Minneapolis as the 5th overall pick. He brought unprecedented athletic talent, a relentless will to win, and an ironclad defensive mindset, embedding it deeply into the team's DNA. Ask any longtime Minnesota fan what the Timberwolves culture is, and they'll point to number 21, Garnett, who would pound his chest before the game or bang the stanchion under the basket, psyching himself up before tip-off, as if fighting an invisible opponent. Once on the court, his 7-foot wingspan became a weapon. On defense, he created a suffocating presence, pounding his chest and roaring after stops, glaring at teammates' mistakes, and diving for loose balls without hesitation. This intensity allowed the Timberwolves to shed the weak team label, reach the playoffs for 8 straight seasons, and in 2004, advanced to the Western Conference Finals, with Garnett winning the MVP. That era's Wolves may not have been flashy, and their teamwork not silky smooth, but they were among the toughest teams to face. Whenever the spotlight fell on the target center, that wolf-like mentality, better to lose standing than to win kneeling, filled the arena. Garnett's greatest legacy, an insatiable hunger for victory and pride in defending dignity at all costs. But heroes age, and times change. When Garnett left for Boston in 2007, the Wolves inevitably fell into a slump. Over the next 14 years, the team went through long rebuilding stretches, repeatedly drafting talented prospects but coming up short year after year. The turning point came in 2020, when the Wolves won the lottery and selected Anthony Edwards. The moment he stepped into the arena, Minnesota's long-dormant spirit fully awakened. Ant carries something intrinsic to the Minnesota lineage. He defends like Garnett, covering the floor relentlessly, and ignites the crowd with powerful dunks on offense. More importantly, his sunny, confident personality dispels the decades-long gloom that had weighed on the state. Ant, Jaden McDaniels, and Naz Reid all joined Minnesota around 2020. 6 years have been enough for raw rookies to shed their inexperience and develop unspoken chemistry. In the 2022 offseason, they pulled off a massive 9-for-1 trade to bring in 3-time DPOY Rudy Gobert. Veteran Mike Conley also joined that year. This trade built a twin-tower interior with Gobert and Karl-Anthony Towns. While offensive spacing remained a challenge, Gobert's arrival solidified a defensive foundation, yet the salary cap quickly forced the Wolves' hand. By the 2024 offseason, they had to part ways with Towns, trading him to the New York Knicks for Julius Randle, DiVincenzo, and a protected first-round pick. With that, the core roster was complete. After 13 consecutive seasons missing the playoffs, the Wolves have now reached the semifinals for 3 straight years, and the previous 2 seasons even saw them in the Western Conference Finals. They are unafraid of losing their alpha. Every Wolf here is ready to lead the pack forward. This is the culture of the Minnesota Timberwolves.